19:05 p.m., Moscow time. Sheremetyevo International Airport. Thousands of Russians flood through Terminal D, dragging suitcases, clutching gifts, heading home for Christmas. They have no idea that Putin's war has arrived right at their feet. Ukraine is about to turn their holiday into the world's largest fireball. And the source of that fireball isn't a long-range missile. It's already inside Moscow's gates. 7 miles from the runway, hidden in a snow-covered forest clearing, the roof of a Gazelle delivery van slides open. The side shows a cheerful Santa Claus, but inside, 10 drones spin up in the freezing air. They're hunting a ghost hiding in plain sight, a 120 million Ilyushin Il-76 transport disguised as a civilian freighter, currently being loaded with Kaliber cruise missiles worth $24 million, but to reach it, they must fly through a digital fortress. A kill zone woven from overlapping fire of 3 Panzer S-1 batteries, watched by the godlike eye of the S-400 and smothered by the electronic blizzard of the Krasuka 4 system. So how do you use a Santa Claus van to assassinate a target inside the most heavily defended airspace on the planet? 19:00 p.m., 7 miles from Sheremetyevo, the Santa van's roof slides open with a low mechanical hum. A 12V servo motor signals the start of the attack. 10 drones lift into the freezing Moscow night in perfect synchronization. The swarm splits instantly. 4 Baba Yaga heavy lift drones punch upward, climbing to exactly 46 meters into the dark sky. Below them, 6 OSA FPV quads slam down to 80 feet off the ground, accelerate to 90 mph, and lock into the exact departure corridor of an Aeroflot passenger jet that cleared the runway minutes earlier. The data, scraped from a real-time hack of Flight Radar 24, turns a commercial flight path into a digital cloak of invisibility. It's the equivalent of a getaway car merging perfectly into rush hour traffic. They're flying blind to the enemy, using only internal navigation and visual sensors, deliberately broadcasting 0 GPS signals to give the Krasuka 4 nothing to spoof. But how did this weaponized gift penetrate Moscow? It exploited the single greatest vulnerability of any security state, the chaos of a national holiday. For 36 hours, as holiday traffic overwhelmed checkpoints, the Santa van became just another piece of harmless noise. Overstretched FSB agents saw a manifest for children's gifts and waved it through. They never checked the false bottom. Ukraine hadn't just smuggled in a weapon, they'd weaponized Christmas itself. 19:04 p.m. 9 kilometers out, the 96L6E cheeseboard radar on a Panzer S-1 battery flashes with 6 strange echoes. Inside the command vehicle, a 27-year-old Russian lieutenant takes a sip of Christmas coffee, annoyed at the interruption. Altitude, 24 meters, MPH. The profile screams hobbyist. A civilian drone strayed too close during the holiday. He decides to swat the fly. He presses engage. 157E6 missile erupts from its tube on a pillar of white-hot fire, accelerating to Mach 3. Its 55-pound fragmentation warhead crosses the 3-mile gap in 4.1 seconds. The first OSA drone simply ceases to exist, vaporized inside a 60-foot ball of fire and shredded tungsten. Confirmed hit. Just a civilian quadcopter, comrades. They have no idea they just executed the cheapest, most expendable piece in the entire swarm. 19:04:38. On the Panzer's display, the logic is flawless. 1 target down, 5 to go. It automatically designates OSA number 2, preparing to send a second 200,000 missile screaming into the night. But the destruction of the first drone wasn't failure, it was the trigger. The microsecond the Panzer registered the kill, the entire swarm executed a maneuver so radical it bordered on digital suicide. Ghost Protocol. All 5 remaining OSA FPVs simultaneously severed their digital tethers to the Baba Yaga motherships. It's the digital equivalent of an agent smashing their radio after receiving final orders. They're now completely dark. No commands in, no telemetry out. Flying on pure pre-programmed instinct and AI-powered visual navigation, using the hacked Aeroflot flight data as guide rails. To the Panzer's sensitive receivers hunting for electronic whispers between drone and operator, the 5 targets simply cease to exist in the radio frequency spectrum. But invisibility isn't enough. You must also create a convincing illusion. 19:05 p.m. As the FPVs went dark, Baba Yaga No. 2, the designated digital puppeteer, unleashed its true weapon. Not a jammer, a spoofer. It began broadcasting a powerful falsified signal, perfectly mimicking the radar signature of all 5 missing FPV drones, but projecting them on a trajectory climbing away from the airport. The ultimate magic trick. For the Pantsir's computer, it's an irresistible logic puzzle. 5 faint, difficult targets at low altitude vanished, instantly replaced by 5 stronger, clearer, less threatening targets moving predictably. The machine does what it's programmed to do. It follows the lie. The operator watches his system automatically drop its lock on empty space where the real threat used to be and begin tracking Phantom Swarm. Simultaneously, Baba Yaga No. 3 unleashes a targeted 20-watt scream of digital static, a focused beam aimed precisely at the X-band frequency used by the 2nd Panzer battery on the west side. One system deceived, one system blinded. For 60 seconds, the swarm is safe, but their cleverness just painted a giant target for something far deadlier than any Pantsir. 19:05:15, 55 miles away in Dubna, the unblinking eye of an S-400 air defense system sees everything. A Panzer is a bodyguard, scanning for small threats up close, but an S-400 is an apex predator. Its massive 92 N6E gravestone radar isn't looking for tiny drones. It's purpose-built to hunt the most valuable targets on the battlefield. Command posts, AWACS planes, high-power jammers. The Baba Yagas, in their attempt to be clever, just made themselves the perfect S-400 target. The S-400's computer instantly dismisses the phantom signals, fooling the Panzer as irrelevant noise. Instead, it sees 4 powerful, coherent, very real signals hovering at 150 feet. It doesn't see drones. It sees the enemy's nerve center. The gravestone radar locks onto the 4 motherships with chilling precision. The S-400 isn't preparing to fire a surgical strike. It's preparing to launch its 40 N6E missile, a 236-mile range weapon with a 400-pound warhead designed to obliterate strategic bombers in the stratosphere. Using it on the Baba Yagas isn't overkill, it's an execution. This is the ultimate checkmate moment. If those missiles launch, the motherships vaporize, the command link severs, the 6 FPV drones become tumbling bricks of plastic crashing into forest. Mission failure. Total. 19:05:25. Launch authorization for 2 40 N6E missiles flashes across the S-400 operator's console. In the cold, clinical world of air defense algorithms, the 4 Baba Yagas are highest value targets. Their execution is now formality. But Ukrainian strategy is built on one principle. You cannot defeat a superior system with force. You must defeat it with its own logic. Baba Yaga No. 4 was never just a mothership. It was the designated ace in the hole. Its pre-programmed mission activates the microsecond the S-400's radar locks on. An S-400 radar is brutally intelligent, designed to filter out simple chaff and low-tech decoys. You cannot simply distract it. You must present it with a lie so perfect, so overwhelmingly logical, it has no choice but to believe. You have to give it a better target. 2 plasma flare cartridges mounted on the drone's undercarriage ignite with blinding white-hot flash. Simultaneously, 4 modified MJU 7AB thermal decoys eject, creating an incandescent trail. In 0.9 seconds, the drone's apparent surface temperature leaps to over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The plasma bloom creates a radar signature 10 times larger than the actual swarm. To the S-400's computer, the 4 small, difficult targets it's been tracking are instantly eclipsed by a single massive, screaming hot signature. It's like a shark spotting 4 small fish suddenly being presented with a bleeding whale. It's biologically and logically compelled to go after the bigger meal. The gravestone radar's logic is hijacked. Its lock instantly shifts from the real swarm to the phantom target blooming 230 feet away. 2 40 N6E missiles, valued at 4 million, roar from their launch tubes. Rocket motors scream as they climb into Moscow sky, chasing ghosts of heat and plasma. 8 seconds later, they detonate harmlessly, bright as premature Christmas fireworks. The Ukrainian agents just bought their lives, but the price is anonymity. The final window is open, 18 seconds wide, just 18 seconds. 19:06 p.m. OSA drone number 6 has flown through the entire digital gauntlet. It peels away from the exposed swarm, electric motors screaming as it pitches into a steep 65-degree terminal dive. Target, the left wing of the Il-76, precisely where the main fuel tank connects to engine pylon, a spot no larger than a dinner plate, calculated not for biggest explosion, but for most catastrophic chain reaction. The drone strikes. The 7-pound shaped charge doesn't explode on contact. A half-second delay fuse allows the warhead to punch through thin aluminum skin and bury itself deep inside the wing's main fuel tank. The difference between a fire on the surface and a bomb inside the heart. When it detonates, it focuses the entire explosive force into a single white-hot jet of molten copper moving at 25,000 feet per second. This plasma jet instantly vaporizes 400 gallons of JP-8 jet fuel, creating an expanding fireball reaching 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. The fuel tank, designed to hold liquid not contained detonations, ruptures under immense pressure wave, turning the aircraft's alloy frame into hypersonic shrapnel. But the real devastation has just begun. The blast wave slams into the main cargo bay, packed with compressed oxygen canisters and warheads of 24 caliber cruise missiles. The shock is too violent. They detonate sympathetically, a new, far more violent event equivalent to 1.5 tons of TNT. A column of fire, 220 feet high, erupts from the heart of the airfield. A brilliant, terrifying pillar of orange and black so bright passengers in the terminal over a mile away can see it clearly. The $120 million Le-76 and its $24 million cargo of Caliber missiles cease to exist. Now, a crater of burning twisted metal. 19:06:45. The violence is contagious. A fully loaded fuel truck parked next to the Il-76 is engulfed by the initial blast, exploding and sending rivers of burning jet fuel across the tarmac. The fuel reaches a small adjacent ammunition depot. Secondary explosions rock the airfield. Sheremetyevo Airport is paralyzed. All flights immediately grounded. Within minutes, the decision is made. Shut down the airport for 5 hours. 300 flights canceled. Over 42,000 passengers stranded on the night of their Christmas travel. But the agents on the ground are already gone. 21 minutes before the first drone struck, the Santa van and a Lada sedan quietly pulled out of their hiding spot. Now just 2 more vehicles melting invisibly into holiday traffic heading for the border. They're 100% safe. The fire at Sheremetyevo is just the beginning. The real damage is strategic, spreading like a virus through the Russian war machine. Instantly, Russia loses its primary air bridge for delivering Caliber missiles to the Black Sea Fleet for the entire 10-day holiday period. The illusion of civilian air corridors as safe military highways is shattered. All disguised military flights out of Moscow's 4 main airports are grounded indefinitely, triggering logistical nightmare. The political fallout is even more severe. Humiliated, Putin is forced to make a choice: protect his capital's image or protect his soldiers in Donbass. He chooses his capital. An entire Panzer battery is pulled from front lines and redeployed to create a new iron ring around Moscow, weakening the air defense umbrella for troops in the east. And in the 72 hours that follow, Ukraine cashes the check. They launch 5 new offensives across Kursk and Zaporizhzhia, punching into Russian lines, suddenly receiving significantly less air defense cover. Ukrainian forces reclaim 18 square kilometers in 3 days. The tactical price for Moscow's peace of mind is paid in blood on the front lines. On that Christmas night, Ukraine proved a new truth of modern warfare. You don't need an army to make Moscow tremble. You just need 10 drones, a van painted with Santa Claus, and the intelligence to turn your enemy's greatest celebration into their personal doomsday. One $500,000 strike forced Russia to spend hundreds of millions restructuring their entire air defense network around the capital. The return on investment, staggering. The psychological impact, devastating. Moscow learned that nowhere is safe, not even the heart of Russia. Not even at Christmas. So if you were the SBU commander, what Christmas gift would you hide the next drone in? Drop your ideas in the comments below.